Hey, this is Jaime, the Urban Wine Buff, and welcome to Alphabetically Wine. Now, today's letter is the letter J, so I'm taking it to Spain, and I'll be discussing Jerez de la Frontera. Now, first of all, let me give you a disclaimer on this. Now, don't come for my Spanish. I'm going to be using it throughout this video, so just bear with me. I've been working on it, but let's see. Tell me if I do okay with it, all right? Anyway, Jerez de la Frontera is a winemaking region in Spain, and it is responsible for the production of sherry, okay? So sherry is a style of fortified wines, which means that added spirits have been added to the wine. Most of the time is brandy, okay? Another fortified wine that people always think about is port, but there are differences between this and port. One main difference is when you make port wine, the brandy is added while fermentation is happening or during fermentation. With sherry, the brandy is added after all the fermentation has been completed, okay? But since we're talking about Jerez de la Frontera today, we're sticking with sherry. We're gonna leave port for another day, okay? Let's continue. Like I was saying, sherry is a fortified wine, which means that the alcohol content is sky high, all right? So we're looking at 20% alcohol content in your average sherry, okay? So there are different types of sherry. I'm going to start with the lightest and the driest up to the boldest, okay? So we have Fino, Manzanilla, Amontillado, and Oloroso, which is what I have in my hand. So I'm gonna stop there and say that all four of those styles of sherry are all made with a Palomino grape, which is a white wine grape. Okay, so they're all made with that grape. However, they taste differently because of how they were made and how they were aged by the winemakers. So one major difference between the four is that the first three, the Fino, Manzanilla, and Amontillado, when they are stored in the wooden barrels, there's like a layer of yeast that covers the top of it, which is called floor. So that floor layer prohibits so much oxygen from getting into the wine. Like, it allows like some oxygen to get into it, but not that much, okay? But when you get to the Oloroso stage, this has more alcohol. So once it gets to like 17% alcohol, during fermentation, that alcohol starts to eat and deteriorate the floor or the yeast or whatever. So there's no more layer of yeast there. So all the oxygen is able to make contact to the wine, oxidizing the wine, which is purposely done, and it turns it brown like this. Okay, so this is an Oloroso. Like I said, it is a white wine grape, but because of how it was made and because it's oxidized, it turns into this amber brown color. It's similar to like when you cut open an apple and you leave it out and the oxygen sits on it, it turns brown. That's the same thing. That's what happened to the Oloroso. The other levels of sherry, you have cream and you have PX, which stands for Pedro Jimenez. Okay, so cream and PX are both made with the grape Pedro Jimenez. And with those grapes, they are left out to sit and basically turn into raisins. So you have a wine that is made from raisins, causing it to be really sweet, really concentrated, really thick. So those are the other levels of sherry. Another interesting fact about sherry is that there's no vintage. Your bottle of sherry has several vintages due to how it's aged. It's called the Solero system. And basically they have like all of these casks, or the barrels, and they have like the oldest ones at the bottom, then they have another layer, then another layer, going all the way up to the top, which is new. And so like whenever it's time to bottle up new, they just take out the wine from the bottom barrels, and then they just mix the rest of it in. So like they mix the top from the bottom. So you have like a bottle of sherry can have like remnants of wine from 20 years ago in it. Another thing I want to talk about with sherry is what you eat it with. So it's really versatile due to the different types and the different levels of sherry. So I'm just going to talk about the Oloroso, which is what I have here. This is like medium thick. It's like, yeah, it's not too thick, but it's medium thick in body. Like I said, it's like an amber brown. This is not sweet at all, so it's really an acquired taste. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's really an acquired taste, but to me this reminds me of like dates. Y'all remember the people who used to have the date trees in the neighborhood? I know we used to steal dates off our neighbors' trees. Sorry, neighbors. But anyway, so this tastes like dates and maybe walnuts and almonds and some toffee or something. It's really interesting. Like when you take a sip of this, you can't just drink this down. Like it makes you want to stop and have a conversation about it. Okay, so that's what this is. I would pair this like with some sort of mushrooms, or maybe even some kind of risotto, something kind of thick but yet savory. This goes perfectly with savory stuff. Okay, this is a savory wine, and I would pair this with savory food. So let me know what you think about sherry. Have you ever had sherry? Are you interested in trying sherry? Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Then like, share, follow, subscribe, all of that. And meet me at the next video. Let's go.